we're now joined by Houston football coach Willie Fritz coming off the win. And what a win it was on Friday night, Colorado. And, Coach, thank you very much for your time. I guess everything not good. I know you've got injuries and things like that to deal with. But what was that moment like in the crowd and the atmosphere in Houston?
It was great. We had an excellent crowd. And we played good the majority of the game. There's a few times we'd like to have back, which all coaches and teams probably say. But, I was really proud of our guys. We it was a big-time atmosphere, Friday night, ESPN. The guys played pretty darn well.
When you have, a newer coaching staff and program, is that you're barely into the second season right now, Coach, how do you gauge those moments about the guys when the lights are on like that to know that, like, if they're ready for prime time, which, I mean, no pun intended, but like that was a big moment for them with a lot of people watching more than normally would be because you guys are kind of isolated on a different night?
We just are very consistent with our preparation every single week. I pride myself in the fact that you can't tell the difference on a Friday with me or a Monday with me. I think you got to be very, careful with getting too emotional, putting too much on one game or being pumped that you had a big win and then approaching things differently the next week, or you get that bad outcome and now it takes you 2 or 3 days to get going again. So, I tell them all the time that, get out there, see what's going on with the crowd and the atmosphere and soak it all in. And myself, I kind of think about when I was at Blinn playing Cisco, and I just, hey, 120 yards, 53 and a third. Let's go to work. Who cares about all this other stuff? And hopefully the kids lock in as well.
Those JUCO roots stay with you, don't they, Coach?
Oh, yeah. I just was talking to one of my old players, and I think I had probably, 7 or 8 of those guys at the game last Friday. So, it's really true, though. I mean, and I always tell them, it was tough playing as hard as you could at a JUCO game because you didn't have 4 TV timeouts in the first and third quarter. You didn't have 3 in the second and fourth, or is it reversed? I'm not sure. I always tell these guys, if you're a little tired, just hang in there. There's going to be a 3-minute timeout coming pretty quick.
Yes, there is. That's just the way that it works now, but you're absolutely right about that. I thought when looking at some of the transfer portal pickups this offseason, one of the more interesting ones to me was Dean Connors coming over from Rice to you guys, just right across there. And I watched him at Rice quite a bit, very productive guy, and he's obviously been very productive for you so far. What is he like to coach, and just how would you kind of describe his style and what he's been able to do for you guys through these first 3 games?
He's really fun to coach. He's really smart, book smart, and he's also got a high football IQ. This game is very, very complicated. And we do a lot of stuff, just getting lined up. You got to have a great memory. There's a lot of memorization involved with playing football and being a great football player. So he doesn't bust very often. He's lined up properly. He knows his assignment, his responsibility, and carries that assignment out. Some people don't think that's a skill. It's a big time skill. And then he's got great speed. I think he almost hit 23 miles an hour. With football pads on a couple of weeks ago in a long run that he had, and then he's, he can run in between the tackles. He can run out in the perimeter. He can catch the ball. He's great at blocking, whether it's run blocking or pass protection. And like I said, he just doesn't bust. So he's really done a nice job for us. I've been very impressed.
I, as a guy my age, when I see him in his face mask, it reminds me of almost what I saw with Arkansas and Texas and others in the 70s. It looks like he's got one of those face masks. Oh, it's modern and all that, but he runs like that too, it seems like to me.
Oh, he's a tough guy. And he's you hate to call him a throwback in the fact that he's a tough, hard-nosed, playing hard all the time kind of guy, and I got a bunch of guys that do that, but he's got a little bit of a neck roll.
Yep.
Sometimes people, I got my neck roll picture back here someplace. There it is over here.
There you go.
He's got a little bit of a neck roll, which also is unique as well.
Coach Ethan Sanchez, you called on him 6 times. He made 5 out of 6 of those kicks. That is like, not that kickers have never been important, but it feels like in a league that's full of parity, they are even more important nowadays, where you have a guy that can go out there and he can make kicks. And to send him out there 6 times is a lot in a game. Sometimes, especially with analytics, coaches are like, no, we're going to go for it here. What is it like to have that kind of confidence in a kicker?
Well, it's big. It's you said it all with the parity and how close games are and things like that. And that's the reason we recruited him. I believe he was 10 of 11 at Old Dominion, and his one miss was 50-plus yards. So he's shown it to us in camp. We got it in some down and distance situations where it's, better opportunity and chance of making the field goal than going for it on 4th down, and he certainly delivered.
So you have a bye week now, which is partly why I guess you're probably joining us. You have a little bit extra time, so thank you for taking some of that free time and being with us. How does that work? And where do you kind of, especially this early on, 3 games in, what's kind of the plan for the Houston Cougars as you prepare for Oregon State here in a couple of weeks?
Well, we lifted and watched all the film and put it to bed. We gave him Saturday and Sunday off after the game Friday night. Camp was a long camp, and so we were kind of looking forward toward this time of the year to give some guys a little bit of time off and rest. And then we're going to practice Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We're going to give them all Friday, Saturday, and then come back and begin on Sunday because our game is a Friday night game also. So out there, I think it starts here, our time, 9:30. So it's the second game on ESPN on Friday night. So, it's a good schedule for us with the bye week where we get a little bit of time off. And, like I talked about in our team meeting this morning, we want to utilize this week to get better. And now during this bye week, you can kind of work on some situations that you weren't maybe able to go over in great detail during camp, hands team, onside kicks, different kicks that you might do, returns, maybe some technique fundamentals that you haven't done a great job of offensively, defensively. We're going to do a lot of safe tackling drills during the week to keep our edge in that area because we've done a very nice job of tackling these first 3 weeks. So there's a lot of stuff to improve on.
Willie, you have 30 plays behind the line of scrimmage in 3 weeks. That's not hard to know. That's 10 per game, SFA, Rice, and then what you did against Colorado. You had to make changes because the coordinator changed for you. It seems like the guys are playing as hard and as well as they did a year ago. Your thoughts about how they're getting after the football?
Well, Austin Armstrong, our new defensive coordinator, has done a phenomenal job. He's got a great staff. Those guys defensively do a super job. And one of the things that I've admired, I'm a big technique fundamental guy, block destruction, playing hard, effort, tackling, all those takeaways. We've done a very good job of that. And Austin's into that as well. Matter of fact, he's shown me a few drills that I haven't used over all these years that I've been coaching. So I just think he's done a really nice job of, putting in. And there's some things we kept from last year too, but for the most part, this is a new defense for us, and the kids have really taken to it. And Austin has done a super job of presenting it, to the staff and also to the players.
Your offense played a really clean game as far as turnovers go. All those, you've got a veteran quarterback, Connor Wegman, who's been around college football for a while. You have veteran players around him. Do you notice them working harder at the little things because of that?
I think so. One of the things we really work on is ball security. I kind of, pride myself in all these years I've been a head coach, and we've been +1 or better. We've won 91% of our games, from JUCO, D2, 1AA, group of 5, and now at the Power 4 level. So we really emphasize it, and the guys have bought into it. And they in practice, they do an unbelievable job of exaggerating it, and it's carried over to the game. And and I think having the veteran leadership with Connor and some of these other veteran guys that are playing for us on the offensive side of the ball, that helps the message, resonate throughout the whole team. So yeah, Connor's certainly done a good job of helping us, make that a priority.
So watching the other night, I mean, I was wondering, are you guys going to have enough offensive linemen to continue playing? And not even like joking, because you guys were just going down left and right, and then Dean Connors gets hurt there for a second. I was like, oh my gosh, like it just you couldn't catch a break as far as the health concerns go. I saw the news earlier today about David Ndukwe is going to miss the rest of the season. Just how much of a challenge is this that you're dealing with right now in terms of your depth, and what's it also like though from a coach's perspective to have to sit there and talk to a young man who's trained all off season and trained all this time, and then you have to let him know, like, hey man, you're not going to be able to play the rest of this season.
We had a team meeting this morning, as one of the things I talked about is, it's the only thing I dislike about the game of football. I love everything else about football. I think it teaches more life lessons than any other sport, all the other sports combined. And, I just, it's a tough, hard-nosed sport without question. But sometimes you get those injuries, and David's handling it really well. And, we all need to help him in that regard, to get over this. And we've had a couple of guys that have had season-ending injuries. Rashawn Sanford, also one of our, key running backs, is going to redshirt this year because of injury. So yeah, that's something that you just have to work through. Luckily, we got a little depth on the offensive line. Did not have that last year. It was hard for me to practice because we just didn't have, good quality depth in case someone got hurt. But we got a little bit of it this year, and there's a couple guys that didn't really play Friday night because of being injured, not able to play, and those guys will be able to come back when we play Oregon State.
I tweeted something to Rashawn Sanford when the news came down. We watched him when he was at Harker Heights. He's been through that a couple of times. Love the young man, and I know it has to be tough because he could only help you quite a bit. Do you have a chance during a game, whether it's like Friday or any game, to ever stop for a second and enjoy the moment? Not can you enjoy a game ever?
Oh, there's been a few times in my career, but not very many. I kind of stay on until the very end of the game, and then wait till post game to have a little bit of fun. But yeah, and it was kind of hectic there at the end of the game. There's a couple times we had a 4th and a foot, and we didn't convert. Late in the ball game, that kind of would have ended it. And so. Yeah, it's sometimes hard to relax sometimes, but that's the profession that we're in.
You can watch it on film like you've seen it for the first time.
Yeah.
And then enjoy it.
Yeah.
Probably not then either. Then it's academic. It's homework. So maybe not.
I did watch it on Saturday. Saturday was kind of the first time that I was able to watch some football. Our son-in-law coaches down at the University of Miami, so we watched that game, and they played a really good ball game against USF. So, but when I'm watching at home, I'm just kind of watching. I'm not taking notes and all that other kind of stuff.
You mentioned the neck roll. You also have pictures, obviously, of family, friends, etc., maybe former staffs and players. Of that wall behind you, last question for me, Coach. What is your favorite piece of memorabilia?
Oh, I'm going to go ahead and go with right here with my two coaches, my two mentors. I had a guy named Dick Foster that I coached for at Coffeyville Community College. He's greatest junior college coach in the history of the NJCAA. I think he's 148, 24, and 3. So he didn't lose very many games. And then the other guy's Ron Randleman. Ron was my college coach at Pittsburgh State, and he's the guy that brought me down to Texas, and he did an unbelievable job at Sam Houston State, and he comes to almost all my games and kind of bad to me. So I would say that would be the picture other than, my family pictures that I have up here.
Hey, get a little rest. I know you won't too much, but like Craig said, you have the week off, and then you go out to Corvallis, Oregon State. And I'm sure you got a chance to watch them a little bit Saturday when they played against Texas Tech. Thank you for the access that you give us. We appreciate it. We don't take it for granted. I know you got a coach's staff meeting around the corner, so appreciate you.
Thank you very much. Go Cougs.
There you go. Willie Fritz, head coach in Houston, with us after the win Friday night against Colorado to get that conference record off and running at 1-0.
We'll talk more about the Big 12 in a little bit, but yeah, that was a nice win for them and was a dicey game at times, but it felt like they were pretty much in control. And so it was good to see them finish